What do you want? What do you want?
It's not that simple.
What do you want?
With the World Cup taking place this year, I've been spending a lot of my time watching lots of interviews of the players. Football is the only sport I really get into, so I don't usually spend this much time hearing how athletes talk about their perspective on the game, or life in general. It got me down a spiral because athletes view the world quite differently than myself, but I'm going to take a wild guess and say quite differently than the average person. Even the greats and superstars of the sport take a different mentality than the average good players. This thought kicked off for me during the Winter Olympics when I heard an interview by Eileen, gold medalist in women's halfpipe, who said, "With neuroplasticity on my side, I can literally become exactly who I want to be." I learned about neuroplasticity in school, but never viewed it in a manner to create a life that I want for myself. Neuroplasticity, in short, refers to the brain's capacity to change through experience. I viewed it as the ability to form new, more efficient neural connections to maximize brain power. But viewed through a slightly more optimistic and psychological lens, you can see how empowering it can become. Gu says, especially as a young person, I'm 22, so with neuroplasticity on my side, I can literally become exactly who I want to be. How cool is that? How empowering is that? Right? Identity to her is constantly developing, which veers off into more neuroscience of intrinsic motivation and a growth mindset. Unsurprisingly, individuals with growth mindsets, as opposed to fixed mindsets, and higher intrinsic motivation are more likely to succeed in life. Think about it. If you believe you'll never be able to strike a ball well enough to make it to the World Cup, then that's what will happen. If you believe you cannot improve, you will not improve because you accept the hand that is dealt to you. If you start off not great at striking a ball, but you believe you can get better with practice, and you believe you can make it to the playoffs, then you will. Or at least you have a hell of a better chance than the other guy. The determination, the optimism, the perseverance of athletes are stronger than the average Joe because it has to be for them to reach the levels that they're at in life. But apply that to a broader field, it can get tricky. Because yes, an athlete grows up knowing they want to be one of the greats at their sport, but what if you don't know? What if you're unsure of what you want? What you're striving for? It's particularly fascinating when you see this mindset applied outside of sports because it can be criticized. Take, for example, Timothée Chalamet as an actor. He strives to be one of the greats in acting in a similar way athletes do, but it doesn't land quite as well in his field. Sports are littered with stats and quantitative data to back up performance, but what about a field that's more subjective? It's quite odd to apply an athlete's mindset in a creative field, which is how I'm looking at it. In an article by Gardner and Gilbert, they argue that implementing strong core beliefs are a pillar to shaping the ultra mentality. I'm going to link the research article in the description if you want to read their arguments and descriptions of these statements, but I'm going to share my insight. So here are the 11 core belief statements. There is no failure, just feedback. As a creative, this one's pretty easy. Learn from your mistakes. Every criticism can be taken constructively if you try hard enough. Shifting the diction from failure to feedback can improve your mindset and therefore your outlook. Failure can be viewed as a fixed mindset where that is your endpoint, but seen as feedback, well then the world is your oyster. Self-efficacy, the belief in one's ability to pursue a specific goal. I believe intrinsic motivation is the most important attribute to predict success. If you truly want something and truly believe that you're capable of it, you'll get it. Hunger, passion, determination, and grit. That is what embodies intrinsic motivation for me. Do more than expected. How are you going to stand out? Certainly not by doing what everyone else is. Fascinated rather than frustrated. Curious rather than judgmental. Two different frames of thinking. Optimistic versus pessimistic. If you're highly critical of yourself and others, you're not getting any better because you're reinforcing your belief that you're right. Whether it's right or not, by not challenging that, you're limiting yourself to a fixed mindset. Because of this, something good will happen. This one's my favorite one. Along the lines of rejection is protection, but why I like it so much is it actually sparked this video idea. If you've seen any of my recent videos, you may know that I was supporting England during the World Cup, and I saw a video of Declan Rice talking about this. All these small and building losses end up making way for something even better to happen. I don't remember exactly what he said in the interview, but I think it had to do with winning the Premier League title. Likewise, when England got knocked out of the World Cup, he kept the same mentality. I actually see this in so many different facets of my life, and it's my favorite way to reframe a crappy situation now. Focus on the here and now. You won't win by reliving your past mistakes or dwelling on its grandest moments. You won't win by living in the future. You can't win in the future if you're not willing and able to participate in the present, because you won't be able to evolve into that person needed for that future event. Winners lose more than losers lose. Losers don't even try, or they give up after very few attempts. Winners keep going until they win. That's the difference. If you're guaranteed to succeed after failing 100 times, how excited would you be for your next failure? How fast would you fail? We become what we think about most of the time. And this makes sense, looking back to neuroplasticity. The more neural pathways that you build to a statement, the more it exists amongst your brain. Think about it. If you're trying to link being a footballer to who you are, the more neural pathways that you connect that statement to who you want to be increases. Whether it's when you go to practice, when you put on the jersey, when you put on the kit, when you talk to other people about it. All those neural connections from who you want to be to footballer increase. And you create more different neural connections to that statement, you're more likely to become it because you believe it. Life is a strategy game, not a talent game. You can be the most talented footballer in the world, but without the right strategy, talent can only take you so far. If you don't know what to do with the talent, where to go, who to show, it won't take you as far as you could go. Likewise, you might not be the most talented, but if you know the strategy, you go farther than you could have ever imagined. Strategy is hard to figure out, and something even harder if you don't know where you want to go. But the more important takeaway is to let go of that limiting belief that you are not talented enough. Interested people watch obsessed people change the world. Not to take this one too out of context, especially with the new film that dropped, but obsessed people go way farther than interested people ever would. Anyone can be interested in a topic, but the ones that generally succeed are the ones that are obsessed. For example, Mr. Beast has talked about how he's obsessed over being the best YouTuber and YouTube in general for the longest time, and look where that's gotten him. Obsession can be a dangerous thing, but with the right balance, it can certainly take you places. Your thoughts determine what you want, your actions determine what you get. Now, Gardner and Gilbert refer to this statement as goal setting and goal achieving, but I'm going to talk a little bit more freely, openly, and paradoxically. I am aware that my thinking falls into contradictions. Everything that I've mentioned about this athlete's mindset and all my research that I've shown, I do believe in. However, I also believe that all the events in my life are fixed, which might be a true indication of my fixed mindset and where I need to work on. But I believe that you only have so much control over your life. You can't control how others act or react, and thus you can't control all the events that occur in life. For example, if you want to win the World Cup, and you truly believe that you can get there, you do all the right things, it's not a guarantee that you're going to win the World Cup because you don't know how other people are acting, you don't know how other people are reacting, you don't know how other nations are competing, you don't have the control over these confounding variables. From a quantum physics perspective, I do believe that in one timeline, maybe you do win the World Cup, but maybe that's 1 in a billion, maybe that's 1 in a trillion. But in this timeline that we're living in, my limiting belief is that it's already predetermined. But I also believe that you're living in your best timeline, and I have no science to back this up. These are my contradicting beliefs. That said, I do believe that you have control over how you act and react to situations, but what is meant for you cannot miss you. So you can tell why I'm not an athlete, but I will take into account this mindset and digest how I can implement it to improve my life or success somehow, while navigating a whole lot of contradictions.
Sitting in the basement apartment I rented with